Eye-popping long words like astrobiology are a huge part of what makes Scrabble so amazing, but I also really love strategic brilliancies masquerading as the simplest possible words. For example, plays like pernoctated rightfully get attention, but one of my absolute favorite Nigel Richards plays is his play of the word in. Today, I'm going to look back at a play like this from my own career from the 2015 North American Championship. The championship that year had a unique 8-person match play bracket after a shorter main event, and elite grandmaster Jesse Day was my opponent in the second round semifinal. Jesse plays bind to begin the game, while I'm fortunate to draw the first blank and find my only double-double of satinette for 81. Jesse answers back with striping for 63, which raises the question of whether stripings is also a valid word. I don't have an S yet, and holding an X instead with no obvious overlapping spot for it, I play xenon for 36. Our racks are headed in opposite directions as Jesse exchanges 6 of his 7 vowels, and I dump 5 of my 7 consonants with grimmer through 2 open vowels. Jesse draws poorly after his exchange, and he's forced to dump off his cue for 32, while I get a little luckier with some vowels and play repeg for 23. Next, Jesse can play F for 27, but without a hook for the triple lane in reserve, he sacrifices points to make a more advantageous bingo line for himself, holding the T hook to F, forming F'd. Already ahead, I draw the second blank, and I have plenty of plays hooking peck on the right side here. But I'm confident that striping does take an S hook, and I play my highest scoring valid move of shields for 89. Jesse's draw of the W holds him back from bingoing, so he dumps it with awe for 30, keeping good bingo tiles for next turn. I can answer with 2 here for 37, but I'm concerned about Jesse's ability to end 8-letter words with ST. So I decide to sacrifice 9 points to play OW, placing the much less threatening O in the open lane instead. After Jesse's next play of voice for 36, I have to worry that he's setting up a D, R, or S hook for himself. So rather than the snazzy pion on the interior of the board, I play oi in the corner, sacrificing a lot of points. I still have a nice big lead, but if I continue to sacrifice points to block repeatedly, I could find myself in trouble. Sensing this, Jesse again elects to make an aggressive opening of vid, setting up his newly drawn S as well as the E hook for vide. And again, I feel compelled to block with iota, using my A to form avid and block off the hooks. Something like a twee would have been a smidge better here, using up an extra vowel on my rack, and not just any extra vowel. Getting the U off the rack is important here, with 3 more still lurking in the bag. I'm also getting extremely lucky that Jesse isn't connecting on a 7-letter bingo here, and his woes continue. He plays T for 13, undoubling his T's and preparing for a 5-letter play to the triple that will open the board further if he fails to connect on a bingo yet again. I can play Ricky for 40 points here, but this opens up an additional triple lane back to Jesse that I might greatly regret. So I play Yawp for 19. Computer analysis really likes this play since it cuts off several letters that would have otherwise played underneath the T, like the A, E, and I, and it retains the powerful CK combination to score with next turn. Next, I catch a huge break as Jesse fails to spot the well-hidden bingo of agrestal through the G of stripings, hooking an S onto satinettes, and he plays R, gunning for a bingo ending in ST, hooking tar. I draw more high-scoring letters and play Rebek for 40 points, my top-scoring move. This is a solid play, though I would rather not have opened the board here. I missed my only better option, extending AR to Kabar for 33, blocking the 7s lane in the process. Had I played Kabar, Jesse would have had an extremely difficult turn on his hands with no playable bingos. Instead, after Rebek, Jesse can play Isolate for 71 points. However, Jesse being Jesse, he makes an even better play. Reasoning that he'll still be down on the scoreboard after his bingo, he plays Isolate for 2 fewer points, slotting the A one space higher so that if he draws the Z, he'll have a huge scoring spot for it. Of course, I don't have the Z, and now I'm in a very tough spot. A Z play could score upwards of 70 points for Jesse. I could block it with high for 28, but many of the same plays would still go down for similar scores to the triple. That being said, if I sacrifice too many points to block up high, there are plenty of threats Jesse could now have down low through the C and K of Rebek, the likeliest of which include Jackal and Zocalo. A play like Kuru through the K looks like the best I can do here, simply allowing Jesse to have a free shot at the big Z spot. This play was so unsatisfying to me that I looked and looked for any palatable option that would both block the Z spot and allow me to withstand worst case scenario plays through the C or K. And suddenly I came up with an idea. What about the simple looking alongside isolate? This play would block the Z spot, but it does much more. With two U's in hand, it's nice to get rid of one of them, but the real key to this move is that I have the last S. By playing my H to form here, I set up the last S with sheer in an extremely annoying way for Jesse to block. Not only that, I also have an R on my rack to play rut, allowing me to make plays with the powerful RS suffix. Best of all, there are almost no tiles left Jesse can have that allow him to hook ut himself, giving the spot extremely low downside risk for me. Veteran commentators Jesse Matthews and Robin Pollock-Daniel were very happy to see my move come down.
Very interesting play by Will. Will's made a beautiful setup here.
Will is so great.
Wow. So not only does that take out the Z spot, it gives him an opening. It's just brilliant play.
We're liking it.
That's like geek heaven, seeing something like that happen.
We're so happy right now. we can't make a lot of noise because there is a tournament going on, but we are squealing here.
I draw EL from the bag, giving me bingos in two different spots on the board of Lousier and Soilier. Jesse doesn't have the Z, but rather than something like Joey going for the last S, he knows I already have to have it after my last move, so he plays his top move here of Jolly instead to score decently and partially block my setup. After that, I can simply play Soilier for the guaranteed win. After Jesse's top endgame move of Diazo and my outplay of Za, I win game 1, 461 to 368. From here, Jesse actually won 3 games in a row against me to eliminate me from contention, making it all the way to the finals, where Matthew Tunnicliffe eventually defeated him in a thrilling match. Still, this play remains one of my favorites in my career. Computer analysis doesn't think much of it at first, but after simulating the position more deeply, it shoots right to the top. Even though I never actually got to cash in my setup, making plays like this is so satisfying. And I love that in certain situations, Scrabble's shortest words can be just as brilliant as its longest.